Hello students, welcome to my another video. In today's video, I shall discuss one poem. The name of the poem is Ozymandias of Egypt by P.V. Shelley. Let's know about the poet. Percy Bysshe Shelley was a renowned poet of Romantic age and one of the finest lyric poets in English literature. Ozymandias is 14-line poem and the 14-line poem known as sonnet, divided into two stages. One of the 8 lines, the first 8 lines is called octave and the next 6 lines is called sestet. The title Ozymandias is a throne name of Egyptian king Ramesses. The poet says that the powerful king was foolish as he thought that erecting a huge statue symbolized his power, but today the statue no longer exists. It has become a ruin. Here erecting means construct. So the king Ozymandias, he constructed a huge statue of himself and he tried to send a message to the mass people that he was very powerful. But in present situation, the statue is no longer exist in this world and it has become a ruin. The statue has been destroyed with the passage of time. So let's move on to the poem. The first 2 lines, I met a traveler from an antique land who said, the speaker of the poem once met a traveler from an antique land. Here antique land means an ancient land. So the traveler was from a place with an ancient history like Rome, Greece or ancient Egypt. The traveler told him his story of the ruins of a giant statue that he had come across. 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk a shattered visage lies. The traveler told the narrator that he saw 2 huge stone legs of a statue in the middle of the desert. Desert means in that ancient land from where the traveler was coming. Trunkless suggests here that the legs were standing there without the upper part of the body or the torso. Torso means the upper part of the body. So those 2 vast trunkless legs, those 2 vast legs were standing in the middle of the desert without the upper part of that body of that statue. The desert indicates that it was ancient Egypt. So the desert where that statue was standing, it indicates that, it denotes that the desert is where it is in Egypt. Near the standing legs, he also came across the broken head of the statue that was partially buried in the sand. So he saw that visage lies in these last lines, that you can see that words, the visage lies. So visage means the head. Visage actually means the face, but in this poem it means the head. So near the standing legs, he also came across the broken head of the statue that was partially buried in the mud or in that desert. So visage means a face, but it implies a head here. The shattered head denotes that the whole statue is destroyed. So that broken head, it means that the whole statue is destroyed. But we don't really know what exactly happened to the statue. It's perhaps just the natural process of decay with time. Exactly we don't know how that statue was destroyed. Perhaps with the passage of time, that statue, the statue of that mighty king, it was destroyed. Whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command. Tell that its sculptor will those passions read. The traveler goes on to describe that the face of the statue lying on the sand had the expression still visible and identifiable of the mighty ruler. So the poet used few words here like frown, wrinkled lips, and sneer of cold command. Frown means angry, sneer means cruel, cold command means without any emotions. So he has used these words to give us an impression that the subject of the statue was an angry, commanding, and often upset man. But the next line tell that its sculptor will those passions read. But the next line shifts the attention from the statue to the sculptor who created the statue. The traveler admires that the artist understood and felt. So, read means that felt. He felt his subject. His subject, who is his subject? The man in that statue. That means that the mighty king. He felt and he's read his subjects, the passions and emotions very well. That is why he could draw the face so perfectly that it's still alive. It's still visible. After being destroyed, that statue, the people can easily identify the passions and emotions from that broken visage, that broken head, that half sunk in that sand. Which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. The man continues his praise for the sculptor who created that statue. He continues his praise. The words which yet survive, the words that is in the first line, which yet survive, implies the immorality of a work of art that the artist created. That the sculptor, he created that statue, and these words which yet survive, it implies that immorality. That king, although he died, but he was alive through that statue. His creation is still alive. Stamped means alive. On that otherwise lifeless stones, the statue was made by stones and the stone was lifeless, but through this lifeless stone, that his creations, that sculptor creations, was still alive. So people can see and easily can read the passions of that king. The sculptor's hand copied and portrayed his subjects. Mocked means copied or portrayed. Actually, mocked means the make fun of, but here it means the portrait. The sculptor's hand copied and portrayed his subject's passions. Who is his subject? His subject is that king, that mighty kings. So the sculptor, he perfectly copied the passions of that king. His hand, that sculptor's hand, he copied the passions of the kings, and his heart felt those and inspired to make it possible. So that the hand and the heart yet survived through these masterful creations. That the statue is here the masterful creations of whose? The masterful creations of that sculptor, of that artist. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Now again the poem shifts to the statue. The traveler quotes the words written on the pedestal. Pedestal means the beneath of that statue. The inscription declares the name of the man. The man who is in that statue. It's Ozymandias. He also regarded himself as a king of kings, the most powerful king in this world. The ruler addresses others who think themselves powerful, the mighty, to look at his work to get their illusion shattered. Here, Ozymandias is giving a warning to the other kings and rulers not to hope for much greatness, as they can never cross his achievements. So, the Ozymandias, the mighty king, he sent a message through these inscriptions that he was the most powerful king and no one can cross his achievement, no one can touch his achievement. That certainly gives an impression of his proud and commanding nature, that how he was proudful, how he was proud on his work. But ironical enough, his own statue is now grounded by the great force of nature. But the most ironical thing is that he was very powerful once upon a time, and he constructed his huge statue, but with the passage of time his own statue is grounded, is now broken, and his face, his visage is half sunk on those muds, on the sands. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. In the final three lines, the final words from the traveler on how there is nothing except those ruins and the sands all around. In these three lines, we can see that traveler is saying that around that statue now nothing remains, only sands. You can see sands because it was in the middle of the desert. The colossal wreck hints at how the gigantic statue and the high flying passions attached to it are all dusted now. So the colossal wreck means that statue, that giant statue, that big statue, and that passion, that high flying passions, that now in the present situation it is dusted, it's destroyed, it dusted in the dusts. The boundless and bare and the lone and level sand stretching far away symbolize the vastness of time. So now if you see around that statue, you can't see anything, you will see only sands. As far as your eyes will go, only you will see that sands all around that statue. So with the passage of time, with the vastness of time, all this greatness of that great king Ozymandias, that powerful king of Ozymandias, all this greatness and that mighty things are being destroyed. We the human beings are very little creatures in the vast passage of time. Our pride and might will eventually disappear. But what remains? Immortal is the work of art. This last line suggests the central theme of the sonnet. So, we the human beings, we are the little creature of the vast passage of time. One day we will all disappear from this world. But what will remain? The art of any artist, that the work of that sculpture, that statue, it still remains. People can still see, although it is half broken, but people can see that broken statue. So the passage of time, that human beings will die. But what is immortal? Immortal is, that is the creature of art by any artist. So the last line suggests the central theme of this sonnet. So in this last line, that it suggests what is the main theme of the sonnet. The main theme is this of the sonnet, that is that the art by any artist, any sculpture, that will remain for lifelong, but the human beings, one day he has to die. His greatness, how powerful he was, so one day these things will be destroyed. But what will remain? The art by any artist. This will remain in this earth for forever. So this is the end of this sonnet by P.V. Shelley. Thank you, students, for giving your precious times. I hope you have understood my explanations. So we shall meet again in our next video. Till then, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you all. If you like my video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.